Episode 92, Crazy Styling. Inevitable Success. To want or not to want, that was the question. In front of Aunt Xiaoxi, he should tell the truth. Seeing that little Bun was about to give an answer that would break Lu Tingxiao's heart, Ningxi hurriedly spoke before the tragedy unfolded. Little treasure, do you know how hard Daddy works every day to earn money and support the family? How about giving Daddy a hug? Little Bun nodded, then ran to Lu Tingxiao, raised his little head, and extended his small short arms, indicating that he wanted a hug. Lu Tingxiao looked helplessly at this impending hug and picked up his son, rubbing his little head. Good boy. His son stayed in his arms for 3 seconds, giving him some face. On the 4th second, he decisively turned his head and stretched out his arms toward Ningxi, asking Aunt Xiaoxi to hug him. Lu Tingxiao could only hand the little guy back to Ningxi. Well, the eldest son didn't stay. After leaving the Lu family's old house, Ningxi originally planned to return to her apartment. However, she received a call from Lin Jiji on the way, so she changed direction and went to the company. Xingshi Entertainment. At the entrance of the building, Ningxi happened to look up and saw a huge LED screen displaying the figure of Su Yimo. Playing on the screen was the latest Chanel advertisement featuring Su Yimo. In the ad, Su Yimo wore 12 sets of the most classic Chanel clothing styles over the past century, showcasing a very high level of fashion. Below the LED screen, several fans of Su Yimo's faction were excitedly discussing the advertisement while watching it. Yimo, your ad is too high-end and classy. It's no wonder Chanel chose Yimo as the spokesperson for the Chinese region. Not only is Yimo popular, but also, looking at the entire entertainment industry, how many female celebrities can embody the noble and elegant temperament of Chanel? At this moment, someone happened to see Ningxi passing by and deliberately spoke loudly, unlike some people, endorsing a low and rubbish game, and the tail is raised to the sky. It turns out that we even saw her buying jade at Baoyuxian, a place like that. Are you talking about Ningxi? Who else could it be? Haha, with her meager endorsement fee, she even went to Baoyuxian. It's probably because Yimo likes jade, so she wants to buy some to show off. In the end, she probably only bought a small piece of junk for over 10,000. She's trying to imitate others but ends up looking ridiculous. It's really laughable. Su Yimo, surrounded by her entourage, heard those people discussing Ningxi. She spoke with a slight impatience. In the future, don't mention that name in front of me. The other female artists around her heard this and immediately stopped discussing. They responded cautiously, got it, Yimo, why should someone as lowly as her have her name mentioned in the same breath as yours? Don't mention it, don't mention it. Let's avoid letting her ride on Yimo's popularity every time. She's too shameless. Lin Jiji's office. Ningxi knocked on the door and walked in. Sister Jiji, do you need anything? Sit down and talk. Lin Jiji gestured for her to sit and then asked, do you know the brand Noble? Ningxi thought for a moment. Isn't that the brand specializing in perfumes? Lin Jiji said, exactly. Ningxi didn't know why Lin Jiji asked this question. After pondering for a while, she said, as far as I know, it's a brand with personality. It's relatively niche compared to well-known luxury brands like Chanel, Tiffany, and Armani. Not many people seem to know about it. Lin Jiji nodded, yes, this brand is quite niche, and many people are unfamiliar with it. In reality, Noble is a well-known salon perfume brand with a history of more than 2 centuries. It has always been the favorite of royal dignitaries and A-list celebrities. There are more than 240 privately customized and publicly available fragrances, and each one can be considered a legend. Previously, Noble had never been publicly available in the domestic market, which is why its popularity is low in China. However, recently, I received information that Noble is planning to explore the Chinese market and is conducting auditions for spokespersons nationwide, including in Hangzhou, Taizhou, and AUS City. Ningxi blinked, is Sister Jiji helping me sign up? It's already done. I sent a segment of your footage from Heavens down to the other party. Originally, it was just a casual attempt, but unexpectedly, I just received a notification from them that you passed the preliminary audition. Lin Jiji said. Upon hearing Lin Jiji's response, Ningxi's eyes immediately brightened. What? I passed the preliminary audition? But for brands like this, shouldn't they be looking for A-list or super A-list female stars to open the domestic market? That's true. So, I was surprised that you made it. Su Yimo didn't audition because she has already signed with Chanel. Chanel not only deals with clothing and cosmetics but also has a line of perfumes. Thus, it's impossible for her to take on Noble. However, without Suyimo, there are still elites from various entertainment companies nationwide. Almost all of them are A-list or super A-list female stars. Your competitive pressure will be enormous. So, even though it's a rare opportunity, don't be too nervous. It was an unexpected joy this time. It's best if you can get it, but it's also okay if you don't. Lin Jiji comforted. Even if she made it to the preliminary audition, Lin Jiji did not have high expectations. She just wanted Ningxi to gain more experience. For a newcomer like Ningxi to enter the preliminary audition of such a high-end brand was already a kind of qualification. Okay, Sister Jiji, I understand. I'll keep a calm mind and treat it as gaining experience. Ningxi humbly replied. In reality, she had ambitious plans. Even in the most unfavorable circumstances, until the last second, anything was possible. By the way, Sister Jiji, do you know the theme of this perfume endorsement? Ningxi asked. It's just 2 words, elegance. The preparation time is 3 days, and the final audition will be held in Los Angeles, M Country, 3 days later. Lin Jiji answered. 3 days, that's enough. I'll think about how to express this theme well in these few days. Ningxi muttered. As for M Country, she was more than familiar with it and felt no pressure at all. The theme this time is elegance, and you'll definitely need a stylish outfit. If there's anything you need, I'll try to help you apply to the company. Lin Jiji said. Okay, I'll let you know when the time comes. Thank you, Sister Jiji. I'll go back and prepare now. 3 days later. M Country, Los Angeles Airport. Ningxi took off her sunglasses, looked at the unfamiliar yet familiar surroundings, and smiled with a slight lift of her lips. 1 year apart, and she was back here again. A year ago, she was wandering without a fixed home. A year later, her dreams had begun to take off. This time, Lin Jiji, despite not having high expectations, personally accompanied her. After all those present would be big names from the domestic industry, and she was worried that Ningxi might not be able to handle it. Ningxi, are you sure you don't need anything? Lin Jiji asked with some concern. Ningxi nodded confidently, I don't need anything. The things I need are very simple, and I've already prepared them myself. Early the next morning, Noble Company's headquarters. Riding the elevator to the top floor and passing through glass cabinets displaying various classic perfumes, they arrived at the location for today's audition. Ningxi followed behind Lin Jiji. Upon entering, she was almost blinded by the dazzling scene. Inside, there was a gathering of big stars, each one a familiar and well-known celebrity. Only a few unfamiliar newcomers were scattered around. To match the theme of elegance for today, everyone was dressed in a dazzling and eye-catching manner. Most of the people knew each other and were cordially greeting and networking. The newcomers took the opportunity to flatter a few celebrities, creating a lively atmosphere. The moment Ningxi appeared at the door, everyone froze, and the entire waiting room fell silent. Of course, it wasn't because Ningxi, a relatively unknown newcomer, shocked everyone. It was because her outfit was too abrupt compared to the glamorous and dazzling appearance of those A-listers. It could even be described as crazy. Ningxi was plain-faced, wearing a seemingly dirty mud-colored dress and slightly worn brown leather shoes. She had no accessories, and her hair was casually scattered without any styling. After a moment, everyone wore a strange look. The room was filled with big names, and they spoke without restraint, not bothering to lower their voices, openly discussing in front of Ningxi. Who's this? Dressed like a beggar. Did she come to the wrong place? She shouldn't have. Didn't you see that she was brought here by Lin Jiji? Although these people didn't know Ningxi, Lin Jiji, as the gold-level agent who managed Cold Mandyun, was well known in the industry. After seeing Lin Jiji, everyone showed expressions of disbelief. Ah, I remembered. This woman dressed in rags should be the new artist Lin Jiji brought over, right? Since Cold Mandyun left, and Lin Jiji couldn't avoid responsibility, she even brought in such a person? Is Xingshi Entertainment so poor that they can't even afford a decent stylist? How could Xingshi Entertainment be so poor? In the end, it's just a lack of attention. Cold Mandyun retired for the sake of a man, and Lin Jiji can't avoid blame either. She didn't manage her artist well. I heard she was kept in the dark until Cold Mandyun announced it on Weibo. It seems that Lin Jiji's ability is only SOSO. Xingshi's first gold-level agent should be Zhao Meixin. At this moment, a female star from Starlight Entertainment walked over to Lin Jiji with an expression of concern but obvious mockery in her eyes. Lin Jia, Did you bring an artist for the audition? Lin Jiji nodded slightly. I casually registered her, thinking she could gain some experience by entering the preliminary audition. This statement was both modest and dignified, not lowering her own status too much. To stand out from the nation's A-list female stars was already a demonstration of strength. The starlight female star wore a regretful expression, observing Ningxi behind Lin Jiji while shaking her head and tooting. Lin Jia, it's not that I'm criticizing you, but if you're just here to accompany someone, you don't need to give up on yourself, right? Since Cold Mandian left, have you fallen to such a point? Since that's the case, why don't you stop being an agent at Xingshi and come work as my assistant? Although the salary isn't high, it's better than bringing in a useless newcomer. Starlight and Xingshi had always been arch rivals. The woman speaking was named Li Leilang. She had lost the Best Actress title to Cold Mandian several times and now saw Lin Jiji's predicament as an excellent opportunity to mock her. As the two sides began arguing, onlookers watched with anticipation. Someone teased, speaking of which, I'm also in need of an assistant. Lin Jia, are you interested? Li Leilang wore a triumphant expression. Hee, I didn't expect Lin Jia to be so popular. If this little newcomer can't make it, you won't have to worry about having no backup. Ningxi watched Lin Jiji being surrounded by industry heavyweights, a faintly cold gleam in her eyes. Recalling Lin Jiji's instructions, she reminded herself not to speak unless absolutely necessary. She found a quiet corner, closed her eyes, and focused on preparing her emotions, unaffected by the outside disturbance. After a short while, the auditions began. Ningxi got a good draw in the order. With a total of 30 participants, she drew the 15th number. Li Leilang drew the 14th number, and seeing Ningxi's number card displaying 15, she shook her head and sighed, "Tisk, such a good number, what a waste." Soon, the first participant entered. The first participant already had formidable skills. Despite having a humble family background and no prestigious education, they had fought their way up to the position of the Golden Bronze Award for Best Actress. When the first participant, Fang Xiaowen, entered, many of the auditioning female stars showed nervous expressions. However, Li Leilang looked disdainful, just a primary school-educated rural girl. How could someone like her understand the definition of elegance? Although Li Leilang didn't have any particularly dazzling titles, her popularity was high, and her greatest advantage was her extremely wealthy family. Her father was a high-ranking official, and her mother was a renowned tycoon in the fashion industry. She had received a noble education from a young age and was proficient in various arts. Among all the female stars present, some might have higher popularity than Li Leilang, but almost none had a higher family background. Li Leilang's outfit today probably cost more than the endorsement fee offered by Nobel. It was no wonder she was so confident. In less than a minute, Fang Xiaowen came out. Her manager immediately approached to inquire about the situation. Fang Xiaowen shook her head with a dim expression, disappointing her manager, who consoled her on the side. Li Leilang crossed her arms, looking as if she had expected this outcome. "Tsk, I knew it. A bumpkin like her can't possibly understand the definition of elegance." Except for Li Leilang, the other female stars with decent family backgrounds seemed to disdain Fang Xiaowen. At this moment, their expressions carried a hint of mockery. Seeing the mocking and scornful gazes from everyone, Fang Xiaowen couldn't bear it and rushed out of the room. Despite having achieved the position of Best Actress, she couldn't shake off the impact of her family background and education. In the corner, Ningxi opened her eyes, watching Fang Xiaowen's departing figure with a hint of regret. Fang Xiaowen was a bit of a pity. With her acting skills and popularity, endorsing this brand should have been a breeze. The second female star to audition had a very wealthy coal magnate father, who had thrown a large sum of money into the entertainment industry to launch her. She also came out in less than a minute. The third participant's parents were also figures in the entertainment industry. Despite her efforts in being a typical acting powerhouse, she persisted for 3 minutes but ultimately failed. As the female stars entered and exited the audition room one after another, the pressure on those waiting increased, especially when they heard the extremely harsh criticisms from Nobel's ad film director, Cook. Cook's critiques were brutally honest, and everyone outside the room could hear him clearly. Did they really understand my words? I suspect they have a problem with their intelligence. I want elegance and nobility, not someone dancing like a soulless puppet in a music box. Fang Xiaowen? No. She's not suitable. Her acting is good, but her eyes betray her humble soul. Su Jiao? Are you joking? She looks like a walking accessory stand. Extremely vulgar. Meng Shi? She can be an excellent actress, but absolutely not the goddess of elegance I envision. Number 1? You mean number 13? Oh dear. She has no clue about playing the ancient Qin. Listening to Cook's ruthless and blunt criticisms, the originally proud female stars outside couldn't maintain their confident expressions. Does this foreigner really know what he's talking about? He's criticizing everyone. I think he's biased against Chinese people. He speaks so harshly. We're just acting. Do we really need to be proficient in everything? According to his logic, actors would need to be gods, skilled in every field. Only those without real talent would look for excuses in others. Soon, it was Li Leilang's turn, and leaving behind those words, she confidently walked into the audition room. As Li Leilang entered, Cook, who had been full of anger, was momentarily stunned. Li Leilang was dressed in a luxurious vintage qipao, wearing an expensive string of pearls around her neck. Her hair was styled in an updo, adorned with a transparent jade hairpin. Not only did she exude elegance, but she also showcased the unique characteristics of China. Seeing Li Leilang, Cook's eyes lit up, and his attitude softened considerably. Oh, my dear, come over here. Let me have a good look at you. Li Leilang allowed Cook to appraise her without any hesitation. She had received a noble education since childhood, and every move, every smile, naturally exuded an air of nobility. She didn't need to act. After a thorough examination, Cook was very satisfied. Miss Li, you can now begin your performance. The audition room was quite spacious, filled with various props like gushings, pianos, brushes, chess sets, needles and threads, fans, handkerchiefs, and more. Li Leilang casually glanced around and touched a guqin. This one, compared to the guqin was even more challenging. It had a range of 4 octaves and 2 notes, with 7 open strings, 90 harmonics, and 147 stops. The playing techniques were extremely diverse. If someone wanted to deceive Cook by pretending to know a bit about it, it was impossible. Cook had lived in China for 20 years, loved the country deeply, and was a true China enthusiast. Previously, a female star had tried to take advantage of Cook's lack of knowledge, and she was mercilessly humiliated by him. Seeing that Li Leilang also chose the guqin, Cook's gaze became scrutinizing. However, as she began to play, Cook's expression gradually changed.